Welcome back to the next installment of the single pigment watercolor series. I can't believe we're almost done. I think this is the third to last video. And today we're looking at browns. So most of my browns are all the exact same brown. They're all PBR 7s. And I've done an entire video that just talks about PBR 7 and sort of talked about which one was my favorite. So we're not going to do that in this video. In this video, we're just going to look at all the browns together, and I'm probably not going to talk about PBR 7 that much. I'll link the PBR 7 video, but I want to look at some of the other browns that I have in my palette that are maybe slightly more unique and are less common to have in a palette. So let's get into labeling this sheet and then we'll swatch them all. All right, let's get into this. So first up, we've got Schmincke Mars Brown, which is PBR 6. I bought this brown for the Schmincke video, and in the end, I actually really like it. It's not used in that many mixes outside of Schmincke's mixes for colors, but it is a really pretty, like, sort of medium tone brown. It does lean slightly more red than some browns. The next one is Cosmic Creations Old Leather, which is another PBR 6. You can see that this one's sort of darker. It's got a similar texture though, and they're still both quite pretty. And then we get into all of the PBR 7s. I'm not going to say they're all PBR 7. I'm just going to swatch them all out, and then once we get down here, I'll start saying what the pigments are again. So the first up is Michael Wilcox Raw Sienna. It's very yellow. Nothing wrong with it, it's just very yellow. Then we have Michael Wilcox Burnt Sienna. Then we have Holbein Burnt Umber. Which is a very pretty color. Then we have Holbein Burnt Sienna, which is very orange. I think it's more orange than the Michael Wilcox version. It'd be the most orange burnt sienna I've got in my palette. Then we have Daniel Smith Burnt Umber. We have Daniel Smith Raw Umber. We have Cosmic Creations Gingerbread. We have Cosmic Creations Mocha. And then the final PBR 7, which absorbs a ton of water, is Cyprus Raw Umber Deep by Szmal, which is, I think, always my favorite. It tends to be the one I reach for first in mixing videos. It's just like a good base PBR 7 to start with, I find. Then we have a PBR 8, which is Castile Brown by Artistic Isle. I don't know that she still makes this color. It's labeled 2021 on the pan, so I don't know if that means she changes her formula every year. It's just a way to keep track. Then we have Daniel Smith Lunar Earth, which is PBR 11. It is very orange. It is almost as orange, if not more orange, than the Holbein Burnt Sienna, but it does have a really fun texture. I do enjoy the lunar colors from Daniel Smith. Like, they've just got fun texture to them. We have Rosa Gallery's Lunar. Nope, we have Rosa Gallery's Royal Brown, which is PBR 25. It is very sort of pinky red. It sort of reminds me of a quinacridone, and it's just pretty. And it was a pigment I hadn't seen before, though Jackson's has it listed as a different pigment number. I recently checked every single pan that my store carried. They're all still listed as PBR 25. I think Jackson's had it listed as PBR 53, I want to say. I couldn't find a PBR 53 pan, so I don't know if that's just an error or if it has been updated. Roman Szmal's Iron Chrome Brown is PBR 29. I can't remember why I got this color. It's quite pretty though. It's also very different than the other browns I've got in my palette. It's significantly moodier. It's much more purple. It's just sort of fun. And then we have Schmincke Mahogany Brown, which again was bought for the Schmincke video. And it is very red, but very pretty. So everything is now dry, and if I had to choose a selection of browns, I would probably go with Schmincke Mars Brown. It just has a more fun texture than Old Leather. It granulates more on this paper. Roman Szmal Cyprus Raw Umber Deep and Mocha are probably my two most used PBR 7s. I love Castile Brown, but purely because of its granulation. I don't think I ever use it by itself. I mix it a lot. Rosa Gallery's Royal Brown is fun, but that's because it's a weird pigment. I don't know that I've ever used it by itself. I tend to mix it with other things. Chrome Brown, I think, is probably the most unique brown in this whole selection, the fact that it leans quite gray. I don't know if that's just the paper though. I feel like my swatch of it is a lot more brown than this, so this could just be how it's acting on this paper. I do really love it though. And then Mahogany Brown, I go back and forth on this brown. I theoretically really like it, and then I don't actually use it all that often unless I'm doing granulating colors. So if you're a big fan of creating your own granulating colors, Mahogany Brown is probably a must, but otherwise you can probably live without it. I hope you enjoyed watching what single pigment browns do I have in my palette. Am I missing any of your favorites? I've received some really great color suggestions so far in other videos, and so I'd love to hear your brown suggestions. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching.